Feel how you want to feel about the Kardashians, but I just watched Building a $1 Billion Empire. It's on Peacock about how the Kardashians became billionaires, and it is a masterclass. And there's so many gems, and I have skimmed them all for you, a pun on skims, so you can learn. Number one, don't let anybody tell you delusion does not pay off, because Kris Jenner had delusion and a vision. I think we think of the Kardashian family or the Jenner family as extraordinarily wealthy. Kris Jenner was not wealthy. She married well the first time, but then she got divorced and basically started from the bottom. And she married well the second time. But she has been delusional about what she wanted her life to look like. She knew she wanted this life of luxury. She knew what she wanted it to feel like, and she was relentless in pursuing. Mama started off broke with a bunch of kids, and she was scrapping to figure out how to make ends meet. She did have her sights consistently on wealthy men that helped elevate her profile and style, and she used that network when she met Rob Kardashian. Basically, he introduced her to a network of very wealthy people, and she leveraged out of that. So point number one is be absolutely delusional and also leverage the networks that you have around to create upward mobility for yourself. Number two, I always say visibility and perception are your greatest currencies, and the Kardashians have fortified my hypothesis. So Miss Kimberly, she was Paris Hilton's assistant. She was the closet organizer of Paris Hilton. But what she would do is when Paris Hilton would ask to be photographed or paparazzi'd, etc., Kim would stand in the backgrounds and photobomb them. Literally, she would be serving face, body, everything in the background of these photos. So she was getting paparazzi press from her friend. Once again, she was using the network that she had access to, regardless of her position in said network, and was leveraging the heck out of it. She would literally just be in the backgrounds posing and would then garner additional visibility from that. Visibility, it was critical to Kim's sort of come up. So Kim would go to the most mundane things. There was one shot where it was Miami Swim Week, and her friend Heidi Montag was walking in the runway show. She was in the back. I don't know if she had seats or not, but she showed up in head to toe couture. And it was a swim week. They panned to everyone else in the audience. They were wearing jeans or casual wear. Kim was in couture outfits going to Miami Swim Week and sitting in the audience, which then garnered conversation. Who is this girl? Why is she wearing this? She looks amazing. Who is she? She leveraged talk, visibility, perception. Visibility is key once again, and perception is key. So allegedly they were in a ton of credit card debt because they would lease cars or rent cars, or they would be in head to toe couture, bags that they necessarily couldn't afford. But for them, they're that will pay off later. Right now, we need people to know, we need to create a perception. We need to tell you who we are, and we need to be interesting enough that people will want to talk about us, photograph us, people will take interest in us. Kim would also go to everything. There's a shot of her going to an opening of a Charmin bathroom in New York City, and she was like, yeah, I'm gonna go. They didn't say no to anything. For them, being visible and top of mind, consistently being on the beat and looking good while they were there. They did not turn down a check. They weren't too good for anything. And the Kardashian Jenner family are experts in controlling and creating a narrative about themselves. There's a story about how the CEO of Skechers was having dinner at Mr. Chow's, and Kim's social media strategist or brand manager was like, hey, Kim, the CEO is having dinner at this restaurant. You need to show up. Kim and her social media strategist hired 50 paparazzi to start taking pictures of her as she was walking into Mr. Chow's. They didn't necessarily know who she was, but she hired them to take photos of her. And so the CEO was like, wait, who is this girl? Why is she so popular? They organized for her to have a table right next to him, and they have all of this paparazzi swarming him. And then she goes up and introduces herself, and he's like, who are you? Next thing you know, she has a Skechers campaign that premieres during the Super Bowl, So she had some of the biggest audience now knowing her name. They also partnered with intention. Anytime they were partnering with someone, it made sense. Kris partnered with Rob Kardashian because he was wealthy and provided her a particular lifestyle. Perhaps they were in love. She also partnered with Bruce Jenner, now Caitlyn, because he was an Olympic athlete. Unbeknownst to me, and I think many people, Bruce at the time did not have any money, so they were actually poor when Kris and Bruce got together. But Kris essentially revitalized his career. She was like, look, you can speak, you're an Olympic athlete, I'm gonna push you out as a motivational speaker, you're gonna do commercials, etc. Kris was intentional about partnership, and she taught that to Kim and the rest of her children. So Kim, when she married Kris Humphries, that marriage made Kimberly $18 million. I did not know that. $18 million from all the press that she got for marrying Chris Humphries, and they were married for 76 days. They were also extremely resilient. So they're obviously, Kim Kardashian has had a lot of negative press. The whole family has had a lot of negative press over the years. They do not care. Like, there was a moment where they were calling for the Kardashian show to be canceled because Chris Humphries, the man that Kim married for $18 million, he was saying that he was frauded into a marriage. Like, he fell in love with this girl, but she was really doing it for press. And people were boycotting the Kardashians, etc. Kim was able to like sort of flip that into, she immediately started dating Kanye after, which then took the pressure off of, or the focus off of the marriage to Chris. So good press, bad press, they didn't care. They always say, I don't care what the news is about as long as you spell my name right. So class, what did we learn? Visibility, just being in the rooms, being in the spaces is critical. So once again, photobombing Paris Hilton's pictures. Number 2, creating perception. So once again, wearing couture, creating intrigue, having paparazzi taking photos of her. She was cultivating perception about herself. They also learned how to control the narrative. And lastly, they only partnered with intention. So they were only partnering with people, and I think they genuinely loved these people, but they also only partnered with people who would help them bring them closer to their end goal.